The day Ruto betrayed me and Jirongo. This is the now Deputy Party Leader of the Mani National Congress, Kipruto Kirwa, narrating the intrigues from the YK92 days to his fallout with the Deputy President William Ruto. They were very close allies at some point. Dismas, he seems to still have the fire in him. He's been in a political call for 10 years. What does he bring to the NASA table? Does he challenge some constituency from Nandi? That is, of course, Ruto's tough.
Well, I think when you're looking at Kipruto Kirwa, you need to go back to history. As one of the most liberal and independent-minded MPs during the time of President Moi, he was among the few MPs who would actually speak up their mind without fear of being arrested or even getting into a beating. And then during 2002, he joined NACA and he became a Minister for Agriculture. Right. And he's remembered as having coming up with policies to ensure that Kenya achieves some elements of food security. Something that Jubilee has done with a lot of success to dismantle those policies. Now Kenya is food insecure. But when he joins NASA, that's now the face of the Nandi community. I think that's the reason why NASA would want to have him on board. And I watched yesterday when you were covering him in Eldoret. The reason why he came to speak more is to appeal to the Kalenjin community, to tell them that in as much as Deputy President Ruto is in Jubilee, if you don't vote for Jubilee, you still have one of your own within NASA. And I think that's the same thing NASA is trying to do with the Mashinani chief, Governor Isaac Ruto, to tell him to come on board and join the summit, so that for the members of the Kalenjin nation, who for some reason believe that being in government, you must see your leaders running around with GK vehicles, they can see those faces in government and it gives them some level of comfort. And of course, Kirwa is an experienced politician, he knows how to negotiate. So it's not a surprise that Musalia Mudavadi appointed him to that committee of 12, because he's gone through all those negotiations and he understands it very well. Right. And that's somebody that William Ruto would have been very happy to have on board. But again, because of the bad blood and betrayal, he couldn't have him on board. But again, one begins to wonder, why should Kirwa be lamenting about being betrayed? Because betrayal is the order of the day in the political space. People are pursuing their selfish interest, and at some stage, if you have divergent views, then you betray each other, you backstab each other, you step on each other's toes, and hope that in future you'll meet and celebrate a new beginning.
What's your analysis of Kipruto Kirwa?
I think just like his party leader, there are people who wait to be given, like, you run, we'll support you. You see, the other day Ruto said that siasa ni kujipanga. You just set your path and you walk through. What I can say to Kipruto Kirwa is there was some before him. In ODM, we had several ministers, like their former chairman, Henry Kosgei, Dr. Sally Kosgei, Magerer, Musa Sirma. They were there supporting ODM in the last election, but they didn't bring in any votes. Same to Kirwa. In fact, he has been in the cold for 10 years. You just can't come and start commanding a following when you're in the cold for 10 years. You need to build it pebble by pebble before you can reach to certain level. So I think he's negotiating for himself, not for his people. On the other hand, like what Dismas has said about Mashinani, right now Mashinani party is an orphan in Rift Valley, because they were moving under the armpit of Jogo Kanu. And now Kanu has seen the light and has supported President Uhuru Kenyatta for re-election. Mark you, what I can tell you, if you want to know if somebody is popular, go against the grain. If Kanu could have gone to NASA, it would be their death. Same to Mashinani. That's why you cannot see them in a NASA rally anymore.
Right. Interesting.
You hear now what Mbugua is saying, that if Kanu would have gone where? To NASA, they would have lost, because in Rift Valley there is only one kingpin, and that is William Ruto at this particular time. But back to this story, I read it and I have not seen that betrayal coming out very well, because at some point it is argued that when they were in UDM forming together, Jirongo, William and himself and others, that Jirongo came back and told them that him is exiting and is going to Kanu. But for William, he just exited. So, I mean, does that surmount into some serious betrayal? I mean, that is what happens. He himself was the other day in Newford, Kenya, when President appointed Eugene Wamalwa to become a cabinet secretary. He was to be deputy party leader. I wonder if he consulted or asked anybody before he left and now joined NASA. So in politics, as Dismas is saying, I think it is a matter of give and take, and I mean, sometimes people abandon each other without any written documents. And Wakili will even tell you these MOUs they are signing are not even enforceable in a court of law. So the other day we had the CORD MOU. It was just thwarted like that, and there is now a NASA MOU. So I think in politics, that kind of heading does not fit the true betrayal, as it were.
All right.
I think those MOUs are enforceable, not necessarily in a court of law, but to allow comfort within the political, partnerships that people have. And I can always run and show another opponent of yours, you see what he agreed to do, but he has now refused. So that's how those MOUs work. But if you want to interpret them strictly in the court of law, of course, that is just, What I wanted to mention about this Kirwa, I think, again, it shows inexperience in a lot of politicians in our country. And by the way, when I say inexperience, I'm looking at Moi, I'm looking at Raila Odinga, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenyatta, President, Mzee Kenyatta, and those other big political bigwigs in this country. You cannot cry after 10 years. In fact, you don't need to cry. Simply welcome back to
fact, this
Amani.
is 20, because it's 1999.
Come back and enjoy what you find. And thank you for going in to join some coalition which might make your name appear in the map. So
All right.
there's no need to cry.
Finally,